generic look, you're going to ask me, why wouldn't you detail it? Well, the reason is because when you have 50 extras that you need to employ a zombie character on, they can't all look the same. So if you start with a generic, maybe one skeletal zombie, another with lips a little more bloated, and then what you do from there is you can take different attributes of makeup application, latex, color, in this case an acrylic eye, hair, and you can re-characterize the character or your generic sculpt. And then you can put them, you can basically just hood your actors. The reason that I suggest sculpting so thinly is because a tight-fitting mask will allow you an element of motionability that, if you just do a typical slip over, you're not going to get it. It's going to be a big bulky head. If you do everything in foam makeup, or foam latex, I'm sorry, then you're looking at hours of application for zombies that are likely going to be soft focus 20 feet behind the heroes. So it's really imperative that you come up with a solution to the time factor. So according to me, and listen to me if you want it up, I like to take these just straight mask latex, slip it over, nice tight fitting, and like I said, you get a little articulation. It's really good. You can paint them all different colors, add a beard, add a mustache, whatever it is that you need to add to separate that character. And another cool attribute you can do in the same manner, obviously this is a foam latex appliance, so these have to be applied, very specifically to your actor. But what you can do is with this same sculpt in this same mold, you can do a masked latex slush. And say that we had this sculpt, for instance, and I masked latex. We can do the hood pullover, so you get the mild articulation like I'm talking about, and you have your chest here. You actually take the chest and connect the two. You can latex them together at the base. And what that allows you is a 5-minute full body transformation. You slip over the head, the chest is dangling, you just use a piece of Velcro, or even just tuck it into the actor's wardrobe. I know it sounds quick and ghetto, but it's effective, because at the end of the day, you got someone breathing down your neck, you got someone breathing down your crew's neck, and you don't want that. So the more ways you can come up with to make that director and that AD happy, the better you're going to be. Also in the grave zone, you can always work with, I like using a combination of dirts. This is also a little technique that I've come up with. Excuse me. I don't like to see pure mud. It looks like you're cheating. So when you take like dark acrylic paint or clean dirt, which that stuff's like napalm. You smear it on and you're brown, as far as you want to go. It's too dense. Something that I figured out to do, if you take a 50% ratio alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and a 50% ratio water, then you take, I'm sure you're all familiar with plains dust. It's something that you just powder on, to mute something shiny, make it look dirty. You can either take plains dust for one element of color, or charcoal dust for another element. You shake it up in a spritz bottle, and what that does is when you spray that down, the water and alcohol allow it to flow out. When the alcohol evaporates, it leaves the plains dust, or whatever pigment you're using, buried in the pores of your skin. So what it looks like, it doesn't look like a quickly applied dirt. It looks like, this dirt's been on there for 2 years. It's not topical, it's actually in the skin. So it's a really effective way to dirty somebody up. Plus, it's awesome with wardrobe. You just spritz in the corners, the cuffs, the paint legs when you're dragging the ground. It's another awesome way to characterize your thing, because chances are I've had a lot of times on set where the wardrobe wasn't as creepy as the character you produce. In fact, this hoodie versus this is a good example. So say that, no, it's his hoodie, so I'm going to be rag. But typically you get this a lot on set. So you want to have your own ideas of how that you can help your character in case, say, they're not as prepared as you would want them to be. So once again, the plains dust charcoal powder technique works really well for sinking detail within the skin, within the wardrobe, all of the above. It's really nice. So before I get into some techniques, I've got actually some new products from Pache Airbrush. I've recently been sponsored by Pache, and I've had the privilege of working with them to kind of help pioneer a line of products that are more focused to the effects artist, because they've basically been known for model cars, for years, and it's a demographic.